All right, here we go. Look, Gemini Advanced is out today, and I'm having fun playing around with it. So I thought I'd just do a quick live session and let you all see what's happening. I had an opportunity to sign up for Gemini Advanced earlier today. I got the offering from Google. They've made this big announcement. It's no longer called Bard. Now it's Gemini. And when I pulled up Bard earlier today, Google let me know that not only did the name change, but that I could sign up for Advanced, and they offered me a subscription. So I got 2 months of Advanced for free, and then it's $20 beginning in May. So I just started to play with it, and I got some really interesting results already coming out of that. The first thing I tried is I actually said, "Hey, go out to my email and let's see if we can find anything that's going on in the tech space," because I got all kinds of tech conferences that are going on. And it went through and it immediately found a message after searching through my email using Google Workspace and pulled up those details. What's interesting is it also showed me exactly those items that it considered in answering that question. So, hey, that's pretty cool. How about maybe create a digest of newsletters? I read many newsletters in my email that discuss and share AI. What is the most interesting AI development you can find in my mail for this week? I have no idea what it's going to come up with. This could be really interesting. So you can see in real time here that it's looking through the emails and it's using my Gmail account to pull that up. And oh, look at that. Google launched Gemini Advanced, a new paid tier of their AI model Bard. Turns out this was actually in a newsletter for me this morning. And with the things that we're working on, sometimes I don't get a chance to see everything right away. But it did talk about a couple of important things. Apple did make the new tool for photo editing, and OpenAI incorporating the watermarks. I was reading about that late yesterday. And of course, look, it found my Gemini Advanced welcome email that just got generated a few minutes ago from me signing up. Now, this note from Dr. Daniel Bender on Gemini Ultra's launch actually hit my email inbox only probably like an hour ago. So this is using the most recent details in the search. What is interesting here is that it does have more items, and it's finding all sorts of relevant information to pull in, but some things are less relevant. Like it's pulling in some comments from LinkedIn. That's not particularly relevant. So it is interesting to see what it's using. And what I like about this is that it's showing how it's determining what to use. And I actually wanted to be able to use all of the information that's in my Google Docs and particularly my email, because there's so much good information in there from a newsletter perspective. Trying to think of other things that we can try out. If anybody has an idea, since you're on, I'd be happy to hear your thoughts. Let's try some of these pre-built ones. Walk me through solving a problem. That looks kind of interesting because we do that with the mistakes framework quite a lot. Now, it looks like it's got a nice prompt that it's filled in for me to use here. Um, you are a tutor for a college level material science course. Explain the solution to this problem step by step. Well, how about let's learn about something AI? You are a college level artificial intelligence professor. Explain the problem step by step, be detailed. Here's the problem to explain. How can LLMs help us discover entirely new substances and develop new materials for FDM 3D printing? There you go. Combining two things that I enjoy playing with. Going to be real interesting to see. And what's nice about doing this real time is that I get to share it with all of you. So thanks for watching for those of you that have joined. Okay, LLMs, incredibly powerful AI, material discovery. Okay, complex search. FDM is a 3D printing process where the material is melted. That's also correct. Vast data mining. So they're going to look at the chemical and material database. Yeah, that seems right. LLMs can be trained on huge amounts of existing scientific literature. Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, hypothesis generator. Yeah, lots of materials to choose from using fundamental rules of chemistry and material science. That feels good. Experimental property testing is costly. Yes, it is actually. Failed experiments are wasteful. Okay. Can be trained on material properties, melting point, tensile strength, conductivity. I mean, there's lots of components in putting those materials together, the least of which is just simply getting a desired result through the nozzle. You also have to be able to produce the material reliably and transport it. One of the biggest problems that I've experienced in using my 3D printer is when the filament roll is unreliable in terms of the size, the thickness of that filament. When that's unreliable, it causes a clog on the printer, and then not only do you not get the print that you asked for, but you wind up using a lot of filament and not getting what you want. So you wind up with a large amount of waste. So that is an important problem to consider. Accelerating the research process, idea accelerators. Yeah, okay, now it's going to double check, make sure that it's right. Okay, cross validation. So we can use the predictions to work against known databases. And in fact, what we saw with a recent expedition, Google DeepMind actually worked on this problem. They created a system that allowed them to identify new materials, and they not only created a master list of all of the things that could be generated, but then it connected to the existing data that was available, and they narrowed down the potential solutions based on what they already knew about the material property. So there is a crossover that is not only getting the generated results, but using that to narrow down and find something that is more accurate and can be subsequently followed. Okay, let's do a new chat now. Let's see what else we can leverage here. Using the latest information in news, what is the top news story for today? Let's see how it does with this. One of the strengths of Google's engine is that it has access to all of the internet, and it is able to take advantage of that. Now, what's interesting here is it's actually telling me that it can't do it. So I'm a bit surprised. All right, so that's not a good use case. How about let's come up with a game similar to Dungeons and Dragons. Build a storyline and all of the necessary elements needed to build an engaging and dynamic experience for 4 players. Explain the game and provide the rules. Then let's go turn by turn to play. Now, this should be really interesting. Okay, brand new tabletop role-play game. Call it Echoes of the Veil. In a world called Etheria, whispers of forgotten magic still reverberate. I love this. This is it's really colorful language. The weave, the arcane energy that once shaped reality, has long grown thin and unstable. Now remnants of the powerful artifacts called echoes linger, relics of the age when magic soared. Wow, look at the detail there. All right, character creation. So we've got Whisperer, Vanguard, Binder, Resonance, and then you choose from Force, Flux, and Nexus. Weaknesses, Haunting, Addiction, and Vulnerability. Wow, this is cool. One person is the game master, creating scenarios. Etheria's non-player characters and controlling the unstable aspects of magics. And then you're going to roll the die. During your travels, you discover echo fragments. Ooh, that sounds like fun. As you harness them, their power becomes accessible as abilities. This is risky if your character channels too much power. There may be negative side effects. Man, this is fun. And then the game flow. Okay, so it sets the scene. It's an ancient ruin. Talks about combat. So character calling each turn, you can act, move, or use an echo-based ability. So it's introduced this new separate thing that is unique to the game. All right. And it's ready to play the game. So it's engaging in what I've asked it to do. Well, let's see what else we can come up with here. Now, I've got lots of things that I use inside of Google's ecosystem. I keep coming back to this idea of what you can do with email. Let's look through my emails from the very beginning. What is the first newsletter that I subscribed to with my Gmail account? This should be very interesting. I had the benefit of signing up for Gmail when it was back in the beta days. That was a very long time ago. And I was super excited when I got Gmail because it was so much better. Oh, but see, look at this. So it said, I can't answer your question, but here's what you've most recently got for newsletters. Boy, it did exactly the opposite of what I asked it to do. The earliest newsletters in your inbox. Yeah, that's not what I wanted. How about really old newsletters? Something from 2000, perhaps. I mean, look, if it can go through my email, I've been archiving emails for, well, 20 years, right? Because I started using Gmail before I got married, and we just had our 20th anniversary here. What is the date of the oldest email message? Let's see if it'll do this. All of the information should be accessible. It shouldn't have to be recent information for it to be able to answer the question. I get it. There may be more latency in accessing the data because it's on a data store that it takes time to access. But honestly, if it's supposed to be able to access everything, then let's go. Query unsuccessful. Okay, so what's interesting is, I mean, that makes sense that it was a welcome email, February 6, 2004. Now, that's kind of interesting. I don't think it was that. That doesn't seem right. It seemed like I was using Gmail before I got married, but maybe I'm wrong. It could be 2004. I'd have to look it up. Well, let's do it. We're here. Let's ask. When did Gmail start serving customers through the beta invitation program? I don't actually remember what the date was. Okay, April 1st, 2004. So that, I mean, that could be legit. All right, how about let's ask some more email questions. This could be fun. What is the earliest AI newsletter that I subscribed to? What was the first newsletter in my email to mention AI? Now, this is probably going to default back to something that happened today. That's not what I intend it to answer, but it could be interesting if it comes back with something that's quite old. Ah, look at that. Okay. February 8th. So it's doing today. How about much older? Perhaps in the first decade of 2000. Now, you know, it's amazing to think about how far we've come because I'm able to ask questions that are in the flow of what we've already talked about without restating it. And that used to be one of the things that we talked about with search, where it didn't understand the context. And so, what's really amazing about having this conversation is that I'm able to ask it follow up questions and it totally understands that and follows right along with what's going on. So it is using that. Now, let's see this buy.com email. Let's see, how old is that? Just in case I want to make sure I don't have anything embarrassing on my calendar that's going to show up. Let's see when this email came through. Yeah, so look here. We've got an email that came through in December of 2009. Now, what's interesting is there's a lot of junk that I don't need to have anymore, to be honest. But I don't see anything particularly relevant about AI in here. Let's just do a quick search. Where is AI even showing up? Oh, look, it's a serial number. It's the product number of, and then we have the word email. They get a few occurrences. So I guess technically that's not wrong. It did have AI in it. So all right, let's see what else. What other kind of fun things can we do with Gemini? Now, we talked in the video last week about all of the cool things that we can do with their image generation. It'll also take an image as input. Of course, that's not new, but the capabilities to do that now are all integrated. Let's see what they said for the updates. As we close out the time here, I'll just read through some of the changes that they're announcing today so that you can be aware of that if you're interested in what was released. Okay, they are introducing their new model Ultra 1, and you can access this if you're interested. Gemini Advanced is far more capable, and what we're seeing already in the reports that I got through the newsletters today is that this is GPT-4 equivalent. It's on the level. I mean, this could very well be a legitimate replacement or substitution for ChatGPT. And like I said last week, Google is taking this very seriously and they've moved very aggressively to release this. We found out a few days ago that they were going to be changing the name to Gemini. Whether or not you love the name, I think it's here to stay. And it's going to be interesting to see what they continue to iterate on this because that's going to be the next piece of this. We know that OpenAI has consistently offered updates and new developments, and I think Google's putting themselves in a position to continue to iterate and do that. We'll see what they do now that I've got Duet AI in my workspace. I've actually turned on Gemini Advanced in a different account. So they're totally separate and there's not a crossover. So it'll be interesting to see if they upgrade the Duet AI capabilities um, totally separately, or if you have to subscribe to Gemini Advanced in order to do that. But I did go through the upgrade process. That was very smooth. I clicked the button and acknowledged a couple of dialog boxes, and off we go. So I'm excited to play with this. I'll keep playing with it. Hopefully, there'll be some interesting developments that I can share with you on social media. And look out for that. And then we're going to do the regular live session tomorrow. So I'll see you again tomorrow afternoon. Enjoy your evening and go make some AI mistakes.